Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Nedarim page 73, which discusses the laws of a woman who secluded herself with another man. She was married at the time. So there is a law that when it comes to the time of the temple, that because she's suspect of committing adultery, that she would go to the priest, to the Kohen, and she would be asked whether she was faithful. If she admits to her guilt, then she walks away. However, if she denies that anything took place, we have her tested with this special concoction called the mesota. She drinks it. If in fact she is innocent, then she is blessed that she should live a life of peace, a wonderful life. In the event that she is guilty, this concoction becomes a fatal, poisonous drink. On this, the Talmud wonders, if let's say you have a person who brings his wife to the temple, and for whatever reason, there's a huge line out the door, and a lot of women are being sotas. Do we allow that both of them, you can have two women, do this ceremony at the exact same time, together with one another, the whole process? And the Talmud here says no. And the reason for that is because, again, our goal is for her not to drink this. We want her to be able to admit to her guilt, to say, yes, I in fact was unfaithful, I committed adultery, and then that would be the end of it. And she would end up, of course, leaving that relationship, but she would not be physically harmed. And the question is, again, if you have two people, two women, and the first woman, being truly innocent, she says, I'm going to drink this. So she does. Now, the second woman who witnesses this, even though she may be guilty, the Talmud here says we're concerned that as she sees woman number one drinking this concoction, it may cause her to think, oh, she did it, nothing happened to her, so I'll do it too, and maybe nothing will happen to me. But again, if she was in fact guilty, it would become this poisonous concoction, and it would kill her. So we see from here a very interesting psychological phenomenon. First of all, we often find a person does not want to take the lead. A person is a little bit hesitant to do something first. But once you see the first person doing it, all of a sudden everyone else joins in right afterwards. And that's certainly what we could learn out from here as well. The notion of not so many leaders, more than often we find that people will follow once someone does something. What's very fascinating, this copycat behavior is even when it comes to something which is negative. When we find, for example, a terrible crime that's committed, often we're concerned that there will be other criminals that are going to want to do the exact same thing afterwards. So this notion of feeling comfortable could also be, again, in a situation when you're with bad company or doing the wrong thing. But it certainly teaches us this notion that once you see someone doing something wrong, and you may be hesitant yourself, but once you see someone does something and they get away with it, all of a sudden your guard goes down. And even though you know it's wrong to do it, you're going to do it anyway because you just saw that someone else did something, the exact same thing, and nothing happened to them. And therefore, instead of thinking rationally and saying, well, there may be a difference, that person was maybe innocent, I know of my own guilt, instead we end up falling into this trap. The trap of looking at other people and recognizing what happened to them, their life experiences, and therefore maybe I could do the exact same thing, where you're not really looking at the entire picture. It's so much more important to stand on your own 2 feet, to recognize who you are as an individual, and not do things because others are doing them.